Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Right now, we're discussing International Women's Day 2025. The 2025 theme for International Women's Day is, well, for all women and the circles and girls, rather, the rights, equality, empowerment, and the theme is Accelerate Action, which highlights the urgent need for action to ensure equal rights, power, and opportunities for Nigerian women and girls. Empowering young women and girls is the key to driving lasting change in society, and this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, a pivotal document that reshaped women's rights globally. In Nigeria, it has influenced progress in legal protection, access to services, and the shift in social norms, paving the way for greater gender equality. On March 8, 2025, which is tomorrow, we're going to urge Nigerian leaders, communities, and citizens to take action. By engaging in local initiatives, supporting policies that promote women's rights, and collaborating with grassroots organizations, we can create a more inclusive society where no one is left behind. This morning, I'm joined with Bose Ironsi. She's the Executive Director, Women's Rights and Health Project, the managers of Ireti Resource Center. Good morning, Ma. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. All right. First, I'd like to say Happy International Women's Day to you. I know it's tomorrow, but it came early today. So Happy International Women's Day to you.
Am I really happy?
Well, but yes, so let's just dive right into the conversation.
I don't know how to pretend. Yes, tomorrow is International Women's Day, but if you look at trends and things that are going on in the country, so the question is, should I really say I'm happy? Well, there have been some progress and contributions from different quarters. But then we still have a lot to do. Wow. So, well, happy International Women's Day.
I mean, they tell you that you should speak, positivity. So we'll still say Happy International Women's Day. But if you look at Nigeria right now, when it comes to, women's rights, when it comes to the girl child and all of that, would you say when it comes to gender equality, we're on the right track? Like you said, we're not there yet, but would you say that we're on the right track? Hello, Ma. Hello, Ma. Okay, I think we just lost her audio there, but I mean, we're discussing International Women's Day with the theme Accelerate Action, and that's the theme for 2025. And of course, as of today, what we'd love to see is gender equality. We'd love to see a lot of women, having the equal rights with their counterparts, men, right? We want to see a society where the girl child can go to school. The education is important for these children. So in advancing, women and girls' rights, I don't know how far we've come. I don't know if we've gotten to where we want to get to, but would we say that we're on the right track? That's the question I'm asking my guest this morning. And, how do we now accelerate that action? Because in 2025, the theme is Accelerate Action. So if we're not where we're supposed to be, how do we get to accelerate action today? And, what areas can we say that we've made significant progress? I mean, this is already the 30th anniversary of when, this pivotal document was made in Beijing. So how have we, done so far in the last 30 years? I know right now we have about, 4 women in the Senate, but if we're looking at 109 senators, that's a minute amount. Okay, I think we have you back. Good morning, Ma. Can you hear me now? Hello, Ma.
So good morning. Okay. How are you? Sorry for that breakup.
It's okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was asking because you said we're nowhere near where we're supposed to be, right? But would you say that we're on the right track when it comes to gender equality in Nigeria? And I was just giving an instance that in the Senate we just have about 4 ladies there. Meanwhile, every other person is a man, and this is over 100 seats. But if we look at the ratio, it's still quite minute. What would you say to our trajectory so far when it comes to gender equality in Nigeria and the representation of women in offices?
Okay, so thank you so much. I want to say that over years we have done quite well. When I mean we, I mean collectively,
Yeah.
the women, the he for she's, and other agencies, both internationally and all that, have tried to make sure that Nigeria as a country is well positioned to be able to achieve gender equality. And that is why you see pre and post Beijing 1995, a lot of activities were put in place to make sure that we actualize that. For example, there were a lot of policy, gender policy, affirmative action. We had the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act that was just passed in 2015. And then at the state level, you have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition, Domestic Violence Law, the Child Rights Act, and of course, a lot of policies in place to drive the country towards that end of actualizing. And of course, what has happened is the issue of patriarchy is still holding us back. We have not been able to break that at all. Because if we have, we shouldn't be talking about just having 4 women out of 108 in the Senate. And then even in the 4 women in the Senate, I mean, we have seen what is happening for the past few weeks.
Yes.
That even the women are endangered, even within that in that space. So I think that yes, we will say that a lot of awareness, a lot of activities have been carried out, but we still have a lot to do.
Right. Okay. So now the theme for this year is accelerate action. So what role does, societal, cultural, perception have to do with this gender equality, and what can we do to change the narrative? What are the policies that we need to see, to ensure that women have that equal opportunity, equal rights in Nigeria?
So we must be intentional in identifying the gaps that exist. One of them is the fact that we must be intentional in making sure that there is a 50-50 representation of women in positions of authority. For example, in the House of Senate. Why can't it be 50-50? In the House of Rep, why can't it be 50-50? At the government, state level, at the government level, why can't it be 50-50? So if we are intentional in making sure that there's equal representation, it will go a long way. Then that is one. Even in the education, there's still gaps. In ICT, in STEM, there's still gaps. In all the in the agricultural sector, women are still at the lower level. So until we are intentional in making sure that policy, gender equality bill, for example, is passed, affirmative action is respected, and all that, there is no way that we will be able to measure up. That is one. Nigeria is very fast in assenting to international treaties and bills and laws. But beyond that, when it comes to domestication, it is far-fetched. All right? So when we learn to respect those international policies that speaks to gender equality, that can be achieved. Another thing is to change the cultural norms that still see women as the weaker vessel, that see women as not fit to represent us. They have proven very well that women are capable. Okonjo-Iweala is there. Obi-Okwesili is there. A lot that can. Bose Ironsi is there, because I need to say that I'm capable.
Fantastic. I love that.
My daughter, my daughter is capable. You are capable. So why should we be relegated just because of our sex? Not because of what we are capable of doing. So these are issues I think that we need to address. We need to change the narrative. Yes, at the cultural, at the community level, if you look at the thing for this year, it's saying that we should accelerate action.
Right.
So what are those actions we need to accelerate? Let's go to the grassroots. For the past 17 years, I've been working with grassroots community to change the narrative. And what do? I take the law, simplify the law, and engage community. Because until we go to the grassroots, which are the power base of any community, and allow them to take ownership of whatever process that will change the process of thinking, the process of interacting, the process of perception about what they see in others, we are not going to go anywhere.
That's quite true. And I mean, as even just listening to you, it's important that women have that representation. But I want to play devil's advocate for a bit. In as much as we say we want 50-50, of course, women need to rise up to the challenge. You need to step up to the plate, right? And we're not just going to, elect you in. Maybe let's talk about the Senate, for instance. We're not just going to elect you in because you're a woman. We have to elect you because we've seen that you've proven value and you're capable of, being there and representing your people. So how can we charge women right now to ensure that we're proving value? I know that when it comes to, things like business and management, for instance, most of the bank MDs in Nigeria right now are women. So we've seen them hold those spaces. So, but when it comes when it comes to the political space right now, how do we charge up women to ensure that they move up and take up space?
So this is a long-term generational bias. So to change that narrative, like I mentioned, nobody should tell me that if somebody that I know is capable comes up tomorrow to say he wants to become president of this country and she's a woman, that I'm not going to support her. I will. But you can see what is even playing out. You have a majority of men in the Senate and you have just few women. Even the few women don't have a voice.
Yeah,
so we need...
The percentage is just about 5.
Yes, women are victims of the society. It's a struggle. It's a tough struggle for us to break that cycle. That narrative. That narrative that says how would women are mobilized. Okay, look at it. That woman MD that is doing very well in the banking sector, for example, let her just change the narrative. She wants to become president. They will go and dig up history of how she was not a good housewife, how she was not doing very well and all that. And because of in that space, the majority of people in that space are still the opposite sex, is going to pull her down. There is the pull her down syndrome that is making. Okay, now look at what is happening. How many women will have that courage now to come out again to say, I want to become a senator and all that, with the kind of pull down that we are seeing in the country today?
Yes.
Even the younger ones are looking at us. What does it take? Okay, financially, we are not there. We don't have the resources. we are put in a position where we cannot even get, the women are struggling. The household choice, the opportunities to make the resources are not there. And then when you even struggle to go there, they are telling you, no, you cannot take this position. This is the only place. When it's political space, for example, at the party level, what position do women take that will make them to grow to get to the position they want to take? It still depends on the decision or the interest of the president, the vice president, the senate president, the chief whip, and all that. Who will not take decision? Well, let's give her welfare secretary. Let's give her welfare position, because they relate us to those who should be met by cooking, by maintaining. I'm not against my reproductive responsibility, but at the same time, my intellectual ability, my ability to lead, my ability to take decisions should not only be relegated to the household.
Exactly. Because I'm capable of so much.
Saying, that there will not be any support that we are getting from not even the women. Forget about the women, because the women themselves are victims. If you hear any woman who is supporting what is going on in the society of relegating a woman to one thing, that woman has issues.
She's been victimized for so long, so it's a psychological thing to it. I can understand that.
So it's fair. I need to belong so that I'm not seen as somebody that is working against the men. That's what is playing out.
I get that. So now in our society today, right, where we already have this, would I say a brainwash whereby this is how women should be, this is the position you should take, and you shouldn't see yourself as equal to the man. You can't ask for equal pay, you can ask for equal opportunities. How do you think the men right now can position themselves as allies? Because at the end of the day, all we just want is the same respect that you have for the man is the same respect you have for the woman. If you're saying that a man is capable of this, you can also see that a woman is capable of this. So why not give her that opportunity? How can men position themselves as allies to us, where we work together and ensure that, we have a society that is better, working in tandem and flourishing? What do you think the men need to do right now? Because women, obviously, as a collective, we're trying our best, but in accelerating action, the men also need to come in. So where do they step in at this point?
So for me, thank you so much. For me, I believe that the men should be an ally. They should not be afraid.
Yes.
They should not be afraid that when women are in that position, that this is what is going to happen to them. No. Nobody is asking them not to occupy position, but they also know that their daughters, their sisters, their mothers are going to also deserve to be in that position. It is their fundamental human right. It's not a token. You are not doing me special
a favor.
It's not something. It's not a favor for me to be there. And we are not saying that I should be there through whatever means. It's my intellectual ability. It's my integrity that you should look at. If you look at the people that are occupying the positions that we are clapping, I'm talking about the men. How many of them can go out there and say they are accountable? So, but then we are not, that's not what we are saying. So the best way we can do is for them to appreciate that for a country to grow, we must take everybody along. We must carry everybody along. We must be encouraged, women must be encouraged to be in that critical positions of taking decisions. And these decisions affect. You cannot scrape my hair when I'm not there. You cannot talk about issues about reproductive health that concerns women. You cannot, women are taught to be good managers. So you need them to be at position of authority to manage this country. Okonjo-Iweala didn't get to where she got to because she's patronizing the men. No, she got there because of her ability. And there are so many women with that strong ability. Let them believe in us.
All right, so I want to ask this because we're going to wrap up really quickly, but what role does education play when it comes to breaking the gender barriers. For instance, we have the most out of school children in Nigeria, right, in the world. We have the most out of school children, and a huge percentage of these school children are girls. They don't go to school. In fact, if you go up to the north, the whole Marjorie system, and these girls are married early, so they're child brides and all of that. So what role does education play in changing this this bias that we have? Yes. And how can we now improve the access for girls to have quality education, and then they can be the likes of the Okonjo-Iweala, they can be the likes of, Chimamanda Adichie, all these women that were celebrating, because they need that education. What can we do to improve the access for them?
First, we need to go to the family. We need to deconstruct family belief system that says, let's empower the boy child and let's disempower the girl child. Not intentionally, but it's because it's a generational thing. All right? That's one. Two, there are structures that are put in place that is re-emphasizing that fact. Let's give an example. Our religion. You see here people say, all the belief system. Let's start changing the narrative within the religious context that women are human beings, they can occupy political space. Then generally there are some cultural practices that dehumanize women, and when you keep on maintaining that, it's not even going to build the confidence of the women to want to come out.
Yeah. But since we're talking about education. Yes, since we're talking education here, what's the role of the government to give that access?
Yeah, talking about education, the government has a primary responsibility to make sure that all children must at least finish SS3 or go to learn a skill. If we do that, we will not have people that are sitting down and we are just comfortable with doing menial jobs. So, and that is what we should hold our government accountable. And hold parents, if you are going to be able to give birth to children,
make sure they go to
you must try as much as possible to take care of them.
Yeah.
Because we have many people having so many children and yet they can't take care of them.
I agree with you. Finally, my last question to you is, what is your vision for women and girls in Nigeria in the next, let's say, the next decade? I mean, we're already celebrating 30 years from when that document was made in Beijing. So in the next 10 years, let's just put it, what would you like to see for women and girls in Nigeria as we wrap up right now?
So I would say, I would congratulate the women that have really tried to put structures and systems in place to enhance women's ability to participate in all decision-making processes. However, I want to say that, yes, the road has been rough, the road is still very tough, but the future is brighter. We are not going to relent, we must not relent, and we'll continue to put all our ability that God has given us, both within the family, within the community, within the states, nationally and internationally, that women should come together stronger to make sure that we want to achieve a society that is free of discrimination against women is achieved at all levels. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That's what we definitely want. We want equal opportunities. We want equal rights for women and girls. And we want a society that is, free of discrimination, free of, sexual harassing women, of domestic violence. The list is endless. But we want women to be able to take up space. We want them to know that they have a lot more in them. They have the capability to say, I want to be this, and they can go for that. And we hope that, the number of out-of-school children that we have in Nigeria will be reduced drastically, and all the girls will be educated as well, changing the cultural mindset that they have, whereby a woman doesn't have to do so much. It's the boys that needs to obviously provide and protect for the family. We hope that there would be that gender equality in Nigeria, both for the boys and the girls everyone, and we can work in tandem to ensure that we have a nation that is flourishing, a society that benefits each and every one of us. Bose, I want to say thank you so much for coming. This was a very insightful conversation with you this morning. Thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
And you too.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so we're speaking with Bose Ironsi. She's the Executive Director, Women's Rights and Health Project, the managers of Ireti Resource Center, and we've just been looking at Happy International Women's Day, which is tomorrow, and the theme for the year is Accelerate Action. So all the women and girls around the world, Happy International Women's Day to you. You're doing fantastic. We're breaking barriers, we're taking up space, and we're doing what we're called to do here on earth. So Happy International Women's Day to you. This is where we have to wrap it up on the show today. Thank you so much for having the breakfast with me. My name is Rume. Paulson, I'll see you again on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Good morning.